And welcome back to Municipal Matters here on TV Cogeco. I'm Dave Glover, and joining me now are these three gentlemen. We've got Bill Patchett, who is the fundraising chair for Keystone House. We've got Bill Thompson, he's the co-chair of the board of directors for Keystone House, and Bill Johnson, who is a parent and a representative as well of Keystone House. Well, gentlemen, we've had you on the show before. We've talked about Keystone House. Do you want to let the viewers know, just for a quick information, what they need to know about Keystone House, how it got started, Bill?
I think Keystone got started because parents like ourselves who are growing older and parents with a challenged child, you begin to think, what's going to happen to my child when I'm not here?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to look after her? How is she going to live? What sort of a facility is she going to have? And my wife and I have been involved with challenged children since the 60s. And it was only within the last 4 years that we started looking for a possible spot for our daughter, or to see what was available.
Mm-hmm.
And what we found out was that there was nothing available. And that's sort of a blow, because when you plan to look after your child, when you've got the resources to do it, and suddenly be told there's no place for this child to go, what do?
Well, that is the hard part, because I mean, you know, we're talking about parents of children who are, you know, challenged in some way or another, and you know, you made the decision a long time ago that you were going to take care of them. You know, you didn't. I'm sure there were many opportunities when they were younger. There's always some place to put them when they're a kid. You know what I mean? And then they get older, and you get older, and you find yourself stuck in this position. So I mean, here from the very beginning, you're saying to yourself as a parent, look, I want to be here for my child. I want to be able to provide them, you know, a real home, not put them in some institution, you know, God forbid, like a Darcy House or a place like that, you know, and that's really what society had available for people. And you've taken this and you've said no, but now you're finding it difficult because there is no place.
Right. So Keystone came about to try and solve that problem by getting like-minded parents in similar situations together to say, what can we do? Where can we go to get help? But more importantly, what can we do ourselves to get some accommodations going? And first thing I did was introduce Bill Patchett to the Keystone House board, and he can tell you where we went from there very quickly.
Bill, you want to do that? He brought you on. He said, look, this is the issue. This is a concern. Now, is there any idea, just for a moment, of the numbers of parents that are in the same position as yourself?
Well, the last number I heard for Northumberland County was 86 families.
86 families.
Right. And I have no way of knowing whether that's up or down, but I would think it's very close.
So he brought the problem to your doorstep, Mr. Patchett.
Yes, and Dave, I became part of the equation, I guess one could say, as far as being involved with Keystone, after I had an opportunity to meet some of the parents, some of the children, to tour some of the homes that Community Living have now. And I quickly realized that this is something that is very important to the community. As Bill said, the parents are aging, they're passing away, and there's nowhere for these young people to go. I can tell you that the response to date has been absolutely tremendous. The folks throughout Northumberland County are behind this 100%. Good news, just a couple of weeks ago, our MP, Lou Rinaldi, pulled over beside me to tell me that the government will be supporting it, but it won't be till next year, which was most pleasing to hear that, because without the government, we might as well have stopped. And if Lou tells you he's going to do something, he's going to do it. So that pleases me. We've had about, I guess, anywhere from $700,000 to $800,000, either in donations, committed.
Was that as a result of the meeting that you managed to set up in the summertime, though? When is that the first time Mr. Rinaldi was sort of brought up to speed on this?
It was, but we've had 2 or 3 meetings, and I, to be honest with you, I did have to bug him a little, well, a lot, let me tell you, because, as I say, there's no sense in going ahead with this unless the government is going to support it from here on in.
Right.
So I'm quite confident now that that's going to be in place. Now, as far as the money, we're probably $700,000 to $800,000, and that's through outright donations. That's through donations in kind, such as Kitchen Classics, Northumberland Glass, Northumberland Refrigeration, Dixon Flooring, Moffat Brothers, and Bossberg Furniture. These people, some are going to donate the equipment free and the labor. but all of them are going to donate the labor free and also give us cost prices on all the equipment. Well, that's going to make a difference of 150 to 200,000 right there. So as I say, it's moved along nicely. We've had people that have pledged shares from the market, and as you know, the market is a little up and down right now. But I met one gentleman that said yes, and he's just waiting until the bell stocks go through in January. And there's 2 others in that position, so that's money coming as well. And a lot of people have made a commitment over 3 years. I'm automatically now receiving checks, whether it's 100, 500, 1,000, or 2 or 5,000 each year from the people who have committed over the 3 to 5 years. So it's really doing well.
And you're talking, Keystone House is looking at 1 house, but you're looking at 5 houses in all. Is that not
right now, I must say, Dave, our main concern is get one on the way, because once you have one, then everything grows from there.
How's that going, actually?
Well, we have Ed Salka, who's in charge of the committee looking for a location. We are working with Al Rose of New Amherst. We have a spot picked out right now, and Al's job is to right now cross the T's, dot the I's to put everything together. Right. And what we're trying to do is buy that piece of land as soon as possible, and of course then we'll have earth turning and everything else that goes with it to let the people know that we are starting and on our way.
Now, when we talked on the show one time before, we asked about whether or not they would be purchasing an existing home and maybe retrofitting it until a facility could be built.
This will be built from the ground up.
Okay, so we're not buying a house at this point and retrofitting
and
it. It's just too costly?
We're also, Dave, where we're quoting $1 million, we might be able to do this for 600,000 or 700,000 because all the gifts in kind and how they're working with us as well. So it's made a big difference.
There's an advantage, too, in building from the ground up, because then you can make sure the house has all of the bells and whistles that are particularly needed for the individuals who are going to share there.
Yeah, I think that's something, because we talked about all the various amenities that are going to have to be put into the facility. Can we maybe get an idea of some of the things that are going to be necessary in the house? We're talking about chair lifts and things of that nature.
Well, even the experts here, because
even goes so far as putting in an elevator from the basement up through the first floor and the second floor, and making this easily accessible. All of the bathrooms, of course, have to be fit in such a way that wheelchairs or any other mode of transportation within the house can be put in it. Everything has to be, you know, level as far as sinks are concerned, usable by people who are maybe sitting in a wheelchair. The lifts from the ceiling all have to be put in. And some of these things are what really drives the price up. Like people say, well, you're talking about $1 million house. Well, that's true, but it doesn't take long to put in a bathtub that may cost $70,000 and then a lift above it to put someone in it. So it doesn't take long to use the money out.
No, it certainly doesn't. It's a very expensive proposition. And how many residents will we be talking about living in the home?
Well, we're talking, and all of this is talk because until you get into the ground, you're not sure. But we would think at least 5.
Now, is that also going to include permanent care staff at the residence as well? Or are these people living, is it independent living for these folks?
Well, not true independent living, is it, Bill?
My understanding was there would be full-time staff with a dedicated vehicle, with nursing, someone there who can prescribe or administer drugs and things. These are all details that have to be worked out and will depend largely on the individuals going in there. One thing I like particularly, Bill, about one of the suggestions we had, that there would be a respite room in a house. Now, a respite room could be used, for example, if I had to go to visit my daughter and had to place Vicki somewhere while I was away, she could go into respite in a Keystone House. Or if the Keystone House were built in Campbellford, number 2, and Vicki was fortunate enough to be in that home. If I wanted to go and visit her, I could stay in the respite house. I think this is a real benefit for parents who would get a first-hand view of how the house is being run and how the individuals are getting along. That's something I hope that we'll look for, Bill.
Yeah.
Now, is that